So before we stand for the pledge, I'd like to let everybody know that we've had two people pass that worked here. One's a big loss. Josh Glantz passed away today. And Mr. Gonzalez, a coach here, he passed away in December. We haven't had a meeting since November, so we'll stand for the pledge and we'd like to have a moment of silence afterwards, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nancy will be here. Lisa, she's running a little late. She was out of town working today. Just let that reflect that she will be here. Everybody else is here. This time I turn the meeting over to Superintendent Dr. Morgano.
Good evening. We have some Aok Awards to give out. I'm going to ask the principals to help me with this.
So we have two members here from George Ross McKenzie Elementary School who were nominated for acts of kindness. And I would like to start with Ava Cosmo. Ava was nominated by her teacher, Miss Weiss, for helping a friend put on a coat without being asked. Ava's one of our pre-Kers here, and she helped another pre-Ker with her coat.
So cute.
Dr. Morgano, sweet flower.
She's so cute. I love it.
And I'd like to give the next Aok Award to Martin Troxel. Mrs. McKevich nominated Martin because every morning Miss McKevich is outside. Right now it's pretty cold in the morning for arrival and dismissal. And he greets her every morning with a good morning. Miss McKevich, how are you? And his kindness and positivity every morning is much appreciated and contagious. And I will tell you, Martin will be the next principal at George Ross McKenzie Elementary School. Without a doubt. Martin, please come up and be your active comment.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for coming, guys. Please don't feel that you have to stay for the entire meeting.
Right.
All right, so have a great evening.
Thank you.
Is that all?
That's everyone we have right now.
All right. Thank you. Tracy, that's it? All right. At this time, I'd like to take a walk down the hall to cut the ribbon for the new equipment in the fitness center. So if we can take it on the road for a couple of minutes.
Take it on the road.
We'll go down to the fitness center. We're back. COVID guidelines have changed for quarantine and return to work. We get contradictory information from the CDC and the health department. We can surmise that the change that we will follow is quarantine has been reduced to 5 days. We're also going to likely take part in the Test to Stay program so that we can keep our kids and our staff here working. We have enough test kits. There's some available for the public if they want to take them. We gave out test kits the other day, and I think we gave out 168 test kits. And I know Tracy was going to mention it, but I'd like to thank Anthony and Deputy Sean Grady for distributing the tests. It was a cold day that day. We're going to be in the next school scene in February. That's a special pullout in the Democrat, and some of the highlights of the elementary are the new class officers for the first time, playground, academic initiatives in the high school include the media station going live, and our students have the option our current 8th and 9th graders of graduating with an associate's degree along with their diploma. And those are some of the things that our principals met with the reporter today about. Delays in closing decisions. I made the decision to close when we had a threat, and that hopefully will not happen again. The decision to close for COVID won't be made unless we don't have enough bus drivers to get the kids safely here, and we don't have enough staff to safely monitor the students. In the absence of either one of those, we're not going to close anymore. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Dr. Magano from the board? All good? Okay, elementary principal.
Thank you, Alan, for that. Our attendance has gone down 2% decrease from the last time we met in November. That's been due to a number of students who have been quarantined since after the Thanksgiving break. I am starting to meet with families of those students who have chronic absenteeism to hopefully remedy that situation.
Just to note that this is the side of the when we talk about it online. Good news on the state month or past years because they're aware of the COVID issue and they understand that attendance is going to be not what it usually is. So it shouldn't be a hit. I know that's not related, but.
Yep. Thank you, Caleb. Pertaining to academic outcomes, our MTSS, our multi-tiered system of support committee, we're looking to use an assessment to gauge students' reading levels so we can gain another piece of data on students. And we are going to be adopting the Really Great Reading program to help younger students in the primary grade levels with their phonological awareness. We did our computer-based testing simulation today with no major issues at all at the elementary school, so we are prepared to have the state tests executed in the spring. Extracurricular activities, we're beginning to create the catalog of clubs for the spring for all grade levels. Student council has decided on the location of the buddy bench. Odyssey Line has now begun practicing, and it's looking forward to its competition on March 5th. And Cornell Cooperative Services and Sullivan County BOCES has brought in 4-H to our school, and we look to expand that to our first and second graders. Building and grounds, we're looking to have a main entrance sign above the front doors at GRM, and the electric for the new sign at the bottom of the hill at GRM is now been, it's ready to go for Orange and Rockland to come in and finish the job. So that concludes my report.
Very good. Any questions for Michael from the board? Thank you, Michael.
And obviously the mind, how many teams are there?
So there are 2 teams. We have a primary team, kindergarten through 2nd grade, and we have a Division I team, 3rd through 5th grade. The primary team does not compete in a formal competition, but the Division I team will go to Orange Ulster BOCES on March 5th and compete.
Very good, thank you. Tracy, you're up.
Well, we also want to start, we're looking at our attendance percentages, and like Michael stated, we have seen a decrease of attendance due to, and again, this we can chalk it up to COVID, and we're hoping to bounce back. Currently, right now, our cumulative average for attendance is 91.57%, which we definitely want to see higher, and we're working with Anthony in our attendance office to make sure there are calls that are going out and home visits taking place. Right now, my 8th graders are leading the way. They have taken over the seniors. So now my 8th graders are technically on the leaderboard over my 12th graders. But I'm hoping to see it turn around with the 3rd quarter. I would like to congratulate our Marywood Junior Wind Band Festival selectees. We had 6 students who participated and auditioned at the Marywood University Junior High Wind Band Festival in December. And there are about 200 students from about 35 schools represented. Eldred was the only school from New York. The other schools were from Pennsylvania districts, and Eldred was by far one of the smallest schools there. So having 6 musicians is definitely a wonderful achievement. We have Marissa Gochadauer on trumpet, Autumn Walsh on clarinet, Tabitha Smith on percussion, Claudio Isaki on alto saxophone, Connor White and Mason Succi both on trombone. They had a great weekend. and we look forward to more success in the music field from these students. We have been piloting morning announcements via Google Meet by our student body president, Mr. Owen Anderson. And we have been, and this was started with Tyler LaPut and Lisa Marie Druitt, along with Jed Jackie, have been working together to pilot this new communications endeavor. It's streaming morning announcements instead of having them over the PA system. We are now having Google Meets, and actually we started with the YouTube channel. We're going to start that so that can also be streamed. And, you know, students will be utilizing this new sound and technical equipment. We're also utilizing our new media backdrop, and it helps them with video production. So I can't wait to see more of these announcements. We do have a couple of upcoming events. Monday, no school, Martin Luther King. I know the kids are excited for a long weekend. January 28th, our second quarter ends. And then on February 14th, we do have a superintendent's conference day, and then another break on February 21st. Again, a long weekend that the kids will definitely enjoy. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Tracy. Any questions from the board for Tracy? All good? Thank you. Mr. Anderson, you're up, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Just a quick report on classes first. The seniors have voted to go to Baltimore for their class trip. That's taking place May 16th and 17th. 8th graders are fundraising with Joe's Coffee for the month of January and preparing for their Washington trip on May 19th through 21st of this year. As for public relation,
The PBIS is looking into having a speaker come in to talk to students about resiliency and choice as kind of like an assembly kind of thing. We're still kind of looking into who that might be to come in, if we can find anybody that is available, because a lot of people are booked up right now. The National Honor Society will be hosting a blood drive on February 16th in the cafeteria. It is set to take place from 2 to 6 p.m., and donors can sign up online at Red Cross online websites. The Student Council hosted a holiday tree decorating contest for the community to show off their decorating skills and win some fun holiday prizes, such as gift cards and holiday baskets as well. They also hosted a Winter Spirit Week before we went on winter break. Students had the chance to spread holiday cheer and earn points for their class. The senior class ended up on top and enjoyed hot chocolate and cookies during their lunch period. And the Varsity Club is selling car air fresheners with the Eldred logo on them for $10 per pack, with 4 in a pack. The club will use this money and current funds that they have to help offset the cost that any athlete that wishes to order a varsity jacket. And as Ms. Ferreira said, we have, this week marks the debut of Eldred On Air, which is the online news broadcast to broadcast the morning announcements to everybody. The Archery Club is meeting weekly after school and are trying to increase their membership. They are hoping to attend a few tournaments for the students to compete in as well later in the year. The GSA Club, before we left for Christmas, decided to have preferred names and pronouns that the students filled out on a Google form emailed out to the teachers. And that concludes my report for tonight. Thank you once again, board, for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Thanks for coming. Any questions for him from the board? All good? Very good. Moving on. Mr. Cribbs, you're up.
All right. Good evening. Couple of things. We applied for the Shape Up New York Learning Collaborative. That was, they had an overwhelming response to that, and unfortunately we were not chosen as part of a participant for that collaborative. I guess there's many more schools that were more needy than we were that applied to that. However, I just wanted to go over with you, we recently, probably about 6 months ago, I saw some information on NYSERDA and what type of things that they could offer our district as part of their energy research and development. And just yesterday, I got notice that we had completed our benchmarking progress for NYSERDA. And as part of that benchmarking progress, they went back, and I want to thank Sarah in the business office, and we worked with NYSEG and Orange and Rockland and Botini Fuel to gather all of our information. So in front of you, you'll see an energy baseline report with Eldred Central School on it. That is how we compared in our benchmarking data that actually took place from prior to the pandemic, March 9, 2019 to February 2020. So they did a baseline for us, and as part of that baseline, we're going to, for the next 6 months to 2 years, provide them information on our energy usage in both fuel oil, electricity, and propane was a small one. And they separated out our 3 buildings. Well, interestingly enough, we qualify for up to $250,000 in a cost sharing, which they will charge us we get 75% of the money back for any type of energy study that we do that reduces the efficiency and renewable generation, retro commissioning, et cetera, et cetera. And I see Joe and Bob here, so they might have a little bit more information on that. And we also qualified for up to 75% of $250,000 to do clean heating and cooling and net zero design for our buildings. So as we move forward with that, we could actually see some money coming back from NYSERDA. I also provided you a direct incentive list, was the other one, that if we purchase any of the items on here, they give us a direct incentive for the money back. So as part of this initiative, this will help out the district going forward for the next couple of years in any of those items that we can qualify for. So we'll be looking at that, and I'll have an update with the board as we move forward on ways to conserve energy in our district. That's all I have for you.
Thank you, Mr. Krebs. Any questions from the board? All good, thank you. Caleb, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to start by saying that I calculated the tax cap for this year. The information is largely available. The only thing missing is a small piece of information that we usually get from BOCES, but the cap this year is going to be 2.6%. 0.6% of that is due to new growth, so it does not affect taxes. So it's pretty much a flat 2% tax cap in terms of what would raise people's
I
taxes.
just want to be clear that that doesn't mean that's going to be the tax increase.
Exactly.
Correct, that is just the cap. I have not prepared a budget yet. That is actually going to be a question from me to the board and the superintendent, is how would you like me to go about preparing the preliminary budget? At the start, I usually prepare it with the full 2.6 and then let you guys lower it to whatever you deem appropriate. So I start at the cap and we can go down. So yes, to be clear, 2.6 is not what we're at. That's just the cap.
It will be under 2%.
The legislative budget, which gives us our state aid, doesn't come out until mid-January, which is why we don't do the preliminary budget until February, so I will have that for you next time. Last year it came out on the 19th, so we're just a few days shy. The final numbers for the fiscal year, I do apologize for how late the audit is. I will have a draft for you at the next board meeting, but I do have the final number, is $1,411,945 surplus for the general fund, which is $200,000 more than I had even anticipated.
I'm sorry, what was that number, Caleb?
$1,411,945, and I've attached, and we can make available on the website until the audit is available, the revenue and expenditures for last year. We had $19 million in revenue, and we had $17,588,000 in expenditures. And that brings us up to a $3,600,000 fund balance. That's $2.2 million that is unappropriated, meaning you can use it for whatever, and $1.4 million that is appropriated, that is in some kind of a reserve that can only be used for that set purpose. This is the first year since we've started that the cafeteria has run a surplus. It was a very small surplus, $419, but it was surplus nonetheless in the cafeteria as well.
That's from all the cookies I buy.
And I will say, by the way, the cafeteria is running awesome this year. They're making all kinds of cool stuff. And it smells delicious all the time. My office is down by the cafeteria. The current projection for this year, we're halfway through the year, believe it or not, and we're at $506,000 is what it looks like it's going to go into the fund balance this year. So yet another surplus. The cafeteria, I'm not quite as solid on. I think we're going to have a bigger surplus this year in the cafeteria. What's happened with the cafeteria is, and this is not going to be a long-term thing, they are reimbursing our meals at 100%, which is not what they usually do. Usually when a child gets a free lunch, they give us around $3. Now they give us full $4.35, and they did it for both buildings because of COVID. Now last year, and we still had a surplus last year, we only had half the kids in for half the year because we did the A and B day. This year, and to give you an idea, we normally get $120,000 from the federal government for our cafeteria. Last year we got $180,000. This year, we're on pace to get $280,000. So the cafeteria should have a nice surplus this year. I've already talked about the audit, and then W-2s should be out next Friday, the 21st, and unrelated to the school, but related to everybody. The first day of tax filing is the 24th. Which is a full week earlier than last year, so we should have our W-2s out in time for everybody to file on the first day if they have all their other stuff together. And that's all I have for you guys tonight.
Any questions for Caleb on his report from the board? No, good news. It is good news. The numbers are looking good. A few years back, we weren't sure we were even going to be here, and we're pretty sound now. So, hard work by everybody, but I'm proud of it, and I'm glad to see that we're in good financial. We were number first on the physical stress, and that's some place you don't want to be first. Most places you want to be first, but that's not where you want to be first.
Nope. So now we're not even on the list.
Now we're not even on the list. Yeah. And that happened in about 4 years, so we're doing very well here for a little small school district. And
you did it 2 years faster than I thought you could. Yeah. I thought it was going to take 5.
And it's from everybody coming to work every day, doing what they do, and I'm proud of them. So that's my report. Well, I'm done. So on to public comment. If anybody wants to have a public comment, you need to go up to the microphone for me so you're taped.
On the consent agenda items only, correct?
I'm sorry?
On the
on the consent agenda only. Very good. Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve consent items 401 through 705. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Stacy.
Stacy? Second?
I'll second.
Kristen, second. Any discussion on any of the consent items?
No.
We all good? Mm-hmm. Very good. Any old business to come before the board? We all good? New business? Yes. I'm sorry. Vote. Nancy? Yes. Kristen?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Amador? Yes. I'm a yes. All ayes for the consent agenda. Sorry. I have to do this every month. We didn't do it last month, so I gotta be relearned again. Any new business to come before the board? We're all good? Public comment, second public comment. Anybody wants to talk about anything? All good? At this time, I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session to discuss contractual negotiations.
I'll make the motion. Stacy makes the motion.
Stacy made the motion. Second? Second. Nancy? Second by Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
I intend there'll be no business after executive session, so thanks for coming in, and be safe getting home.